For Turkish Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoğlu, failure in the legislative elections on June 7 is simply not an option. He took over as Prime Minister and head of the Justice and Development Party, AKP, in August 2014 when President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan moved to the presidency after a triumphant decade as premier and party chief. In that period, the AKP had won 3 decisive general election victories in 2002, 2007 and most recently in 2011, where it won almost 50% of the vote. But the party faces its biggest test yet in the June 7 polls, with support waning against the background of a weakening economy. Some predict it may need to form a coalition government. The onus has fallen on Davutoğlu, a bookish former academic who served as foreign minister under Erdoğan, to rouse the AKP faithful like his charismatic predecessor. Any prospect of a failure for the AKP is out of the question, Davutoğlu said in an interview with Agence France Presse in the central Anatolian city of Kayseri, one of the party's bastions of support. In fact, there is no other party that makes a claim to come first, except us. We have no rival in a real sense, he said. Davutoğlu told AFP he expected the AKP to take more than 42% of the vote, but said even at that figure it would be by far and away the largest party. The AKP's success story will continue in any case, he said. I always said if we fail to emerge as the first party, I will quit. None of the other party leaders dare to say it. The campaign is the party's first without Erdoğan as AKP leader, with Davutoğlu under pressure in the campaign to show a political vigor that can match the president's charisma. The effort has taken its toll on the usually mild-mannered premier, who has been on a non-stop election tour of over 70 provinces, from the Iraqi border to the Aegean Sea. Davutoğlu, 56, has raised the decibel count in meetings and is now struggling through the remainder of the campaign with a hoarse voice. The premier, seen as the architect of Turkey's controversial foreign policy under Erdoğan, admitted he misses academia but tries to turn town squares into lecture theaters. I ask questions and receive answers. If there's a wrong answer, I say it is not correct. I do whatever my position requires. Erdoğan wants the AKP to win a large majority to change the constitution into a presidential system and enshrine his status as the Turkish number one, a goal analysts say could prove hard to achieve. Erdoğan's active role in the campaign, giving several speeches a day, has been hotly criticized for breaking the neutrality principle of the head of state laid down in the constitution. Davutoğlu insisted he steered his own election campaign and it would not be ethical for him to voice an opinion on the president's role. I do whatever my position requires, Davutoğlu said. Our president meets with the people on his free will and expresses his own opinion. There's no constitutional restriction on this issue. Davutoğlu denied his first election campaign as AKP leader and premier was overshadowed by Erdoğan's strong presence. He, Erdoğan, carries out such programs within that framework. It has no dimension that affects our campaign. We lead our own campaign. A pivotal factor in the election will be whether the pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party, HDP, wins enough votes to break the steep 10% threshold needed to take seats in parliament. HDP not called on the PKK for disarmament. Davutoğlu lambasted the party for links with the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK, which has waged an armed insurgency in the southeast for Kurdish autonomy and is regarded as a terror group by Turkey, the EU, and United States. We have not witnessed so far the HDP calling on the PKK for disarmament, he said. Inside, it is affiliated with a terrorist organization blacklisted not only by Turkey but by the world. Most commentators predict that the secular opposition Republican People's Party, CHP, will come second, followed by the Nationalist Movement Party, MHP, and the HDP in fourth. Davutoğlu, married with 4 children, dedicates time to his family outside of work, but he barely finds time for anything, including his passion for reading, his wife Sarah, a gynecologist, told AFP. He first looks through previously prepared speech texts but in the end he prepares his own speech, she said.